going to tell you about my PRS guitars. These are PRS Tremonti SEs, and about touring with these over the last year. Let's back up about a year and a half ago. If you would have told me I would have been playing an Indonesian or Korean made guitar back then, I would have told you you're nuts. I was using my Guild Nightbird ST and some Telecasters, some other American made guitars, and for the most part I just use American made gear and have tried to stay away from the Chinese stuff, or at least a lot of the foreign stuff, because it used to break down on me a lot. And it turns out those products cost me more than just saving up my money and buying good American products to start with. So I was on Greatest Slideshow on Art Tour, and one of my guitars crapped out on me, and I was in a desperate situation, needed to borrow a guitar, and borrowed a PRS from my friend Chuck up in Missouri, and played it for a show, and I liked the guitar. It was kind of cool, a little different than anything else I played. But shortly after that, he gave me the guitar, and which was a real nice thing. So he gave me this one right here, which has been my #1 go-to guitar for slide since shortly after he gave it to me. It's a 25-inch scale guitar. Even though it's a Les Paul style looking guitar, it's a little bit longer. It's got 22 frets. The tuners are fairly decent quality. What's really cool is they went ahead and went to the extra effort of putting the signature Paul Reed Smith birds into the fretboard. They're not abalone, I think they're just plastic, but they look really good. And binding along the neck and the body, nice carved away surface. Real comfortable guitar to play, super light. It's a mahogany neck and mahogany body. Got the 4-knob configuration like a Les Paul with the 3-way switch, and a wraparound tailpiece. The pickups are just, they call them the SE series bass and treble pickup. They seem to me to be actually really good quality for just, you know, some stock pickups. So I was just stunned at how good it sounded for a foreign-made guitar, and so I started doing a little bit of research into Paul Reed Smith guitars, and behind the theories that he uses, why he makes guitars the way he does, because these things sound completely different from a Gibson product, and yet they're completely different from Fender too. What I found out was that Paul has his own ideas about what works and what makes his guitars unique, and he's trying to bridge that gap between the Fender and the Gibson players, at least it seems to me, because this guitar sounds, it's got all the bottom end, the chunky bottom end you get in a Les Paul, but it's also got the top end that you find in a Strat or a Telecaster. For years I played either Les Paul style guitars or Telecasters. I went back and forth between the two, and was never completely happy with either one. This guitar made me completely happy. The pickups are real hot and bright on this guitar. They're actually not bad. This, by the way, I think this is the cheapest, least expensive PRS you can buy. They run, I think, under 600 bucks a piece. But despite the fact that it's inexpensive, the quality is excellent for the money. So I took this guitar on the road with me and played my entire tour last year Bloody Knuckles tour, over 100 shows, almost 150 shows with this guitar with no problems. In fact, I liked it so much that I ended up buying another one. And people hack on me sometimes, want to know if I had a thing with red guitars, because my Gill was a red guitar and this thing's red. And when I went searching for another one of these, I found one, a new old stock model from 2011, which is the same year as this one, by the way. I found a new old stock one for 300 bucks up in Pennsylvania. And sure enough, it's red too. So that's just a coincidence. I actually like black guitars, but it's just a coincidence I have a bunch of red guitars. But they're durable as heck. A good story I'd like to tell people is about how I went to Canada this year. I had these guitars in a double guitar case, and they had to be put in the belly of the plane. And I think it was from Tampa to Houston leg of the flight. When I got to Houston, they pulled the guitars out of the belly, and some kind of lesbian looking huge woman with a buzz haircut literally took my gig bag and tossed it, and it went boom, made a huge thump on the floor. And I was horrified. If that had been a guy, you would have read in the newspaper, heard on the news about how a baggage handler in Houston got their ass kicked by a blues guitar player from Florida that day. But since it was a lady, I had to walk away and keep my cool. But I was scared to death, so I went to the first bench I could find, pulled the guitars out, and inspected them, and they were actually still in really good shape. It didn't seem to do any damage. So they're very durable guitars. These things have been through a ton over the last year and a half. Talk about a couple of things, just some things I've run across that are maybe, I wouldn't call them detractions, but just some things I've noticed after playing these guitars for a year on tour. For one, I don't know if I spilled something on it, but the treble pickup on this guitar is rusting and it's losing output. I don't know what happened. I don't remember ever getting anything on the guitar. For some reason, it just started to rust. I haven't had that problem on my other one. So I don't know what the cause of it is. I'm not saying that that's something that is because of manufacturing or poor quality pickups. It's just something that happened with this guitar. Another thing is both guitars, from the day I got them, broke strings on this wraparound tailpiece right here, where they leave the groove in the saddle towards the nut. They're all breaking right here. So what I've done over time is every couple of weeks while I'm on the road, or about every 5 or 6 shows maybe, I've got to file those. And then they're fine for a show or two, and then boom, it goes right back to it, starts breaking strings again. So that, I don't know if it's the quality of the material they're using, what the deal is, why that's a problem, but it's been a consistent problem with both guitars since I got them. I guess some people that know me would argue that I break strings a lot anyways, but this is excessive. I am going to switch the bridge out on this guitar to an adjustable wraparound tailpiece like my Nightbird has, partially because this guitar is used for slide. I tuned to open E, and I need to be able to adjust the saddles to get my intonation correct up and down the neck. PRS Tremonti SE is a great guitar for somebody just starting out, just learning how to play guitar, but it can also be an asset to somebody who plays for a living. I plan to use this guitar again on tour this year as well as the other one, and because of this guitar now I'm looking at American-made PRS guitars and considering those. So if you're a student or a weekend warrior or a professional, you can do a lot worse than PRS Tremonti SE. It's a fantastic product. I want to congratulate Paul Reed Smith and Mark Tremonti on coming up with a great guitar.